Hi, this is Regina White Favors with Favors Film Analysis. So I want to extend the strategy case study for reviewing The Town. This is more or less a critical thinking opportunity. And I want to look at assessing conflict with the narrative, conflict with the characters, the way that robbery cinema is depicted. So this will give us an opportunity to think about how the director, Ben Affleck, presents conflict, how he acts within the narrative as a main character named Doug, and his relationship with James, as well as the other characters. And this will also just gives us an understanding, an opportunity to reach an understanding about just the presentation of heist movies, the presentation of robbery cinema. So this is Favors Film Analysis, assessing conflict in the town, which showed in theaters 2010. And you can visit www.favorsfilmanalysis.com for more access to critiques and reviews. All right, this presentation is subject to fair use. So he visits his father. They are having the talk, and it's about hiding conflict. And here they're having an interesting conversation. He's visiting his father behind bars, which suggests that he has some kind of loyalty to his father. He loves his father. I don't know if love is the right word, but they kind of joke a little bit because he's saying, every time I come and see you, it's always the red pajamas. So they have some kind of play with each other, even though the father had to leave when he was young. Somehow the way that they converse with each other, as if his father is not really in prison and that he's just having a phone conversation. One is in one area of the house or one area of the community in his own house, and one is in another area of the community in his own house. So their relationship is kind of different because interesting, because he's the only father in the film. He's the only father. There are many men in the film, but it seems like he's the only father, and he's a father who is behind bars. Fergie um, sort of acts like a father, and then you have James acting like a father, but he's the true father. He's the father that Doug knows where he is. He knows where his parent is. He knows where he is. He can go and visit him. He can talk to him. He can't talk. He can't hug him, right? He can't touch him or anything like that. So the connection is broken, but together at the same time. It's weird. It's interesting that their connection is beyond the bars in a sense that Doug wants to break his connection to James while they are sitting near bars. Doug wants to maintain his connection with his father while his father is behind bars. And then you have the bars that were behind Doug that was facing the the cemetery. So it's a very interesting dynamic. Um, but what you have here is a talk that they are having about Doug's mother and what happened to her. And he asks her right before he's about to leave, right when we hear the 5 minute the security guard saying you have 5 minutes. He asks her, I mean, he asks him, why didn't you go look for her? And then the father's like, look for who? My mother, Doug says. And so then the father is frustrated by that question. We get later what happened to the mother, and we're going to talk about that in the next slide, what happened to the mother. But the father is frustrated. He doesn't, here it is, he's sitting in a prison cell, and he got life, And this young son wants to come and talk about something that was in the past that he's already made peace with it. He's already said it. He said it too right here in this scene that he's already made peace with it. He said, I didn't go look for her because there was nothing to find. And he characterizes the situation as women who are young and pregnant, don't want to take care of their kids, running around, all that kind of stuff. And so there's the implication that he's talking about Doug's mother. But we're going to find out that it's much more than that, what happened, and that the father is sort of like a contributing factor as to why that happened. But it's interesting that he's so frustrated that he wants to get out of the situation as quickly as possible, way before the 5-minute count. And he gets up and I'll see you later. I forget how he says it. This side of the other or something like that. And then while he's standing at the security doors, he's frustrated and slams them and walks on out. And Doug is left still sort of emotionally triggered, turned around by the situation. This situation triggers him just as much as any other situation, because when Claire asks him about his mother or about his parents and they're sitting in the community garden, he's triggered. He says, I don't know what happened to my mother. She just left. She just abandoned us. And she didn't want to be my mother anymore. So he just let it go. Right. And that's just as much as triggering, but he feels like he has to explain it because the person sitting in front of him is a person that he victimized, and he wants to care. He wants to care. He wants to take some time to run through a conversation. Whereas with Chris, there's no intimacy. They have sex, of course, but there's no intimacy. With Claire, it's a building of a relationship that's building towards some sort of intimacy, and they actually end up having sex and everything like that. But the sex doesn't mean intimacy. Intimacy means revealing who you are and being vulnerable and telling someone about your past and having them to make a good judgment call or something, not being afraid to know more than what the person is saying at that time. So this is a talk, and he's hiding conflict. The father is actually hiding conflict because the conflict is really, he's the one that sort of contributed to his wife or Doug's mother leaving or abandoning Doug. All right, this is the end of the presentation. So if you want to listen to other film analysis, just visit www.favorsfilmanalysis.com. Thank you very much for listening.